It's important that education and space education stays in line with technologies that are going to emerge 20 years from now. That's how we have to do it. Current technology have to be in all schools in the world. Otherwise, you are not preparing generations for the future. You're preparing them for the past. That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, SpaceWatchers, and welcome to Space Café Radio, your channel about trends, awesome events, and interesting people in the space sector. I'm Thorsten Kriening, publisher of SpaceWatch.Global, and your host today is our senior advisor, Yvette Gonzalez. Her guest is Rosa Doran. Everything else you will hear from Yvette. With that, over to you, Yvette.
Listeners, today we're speaking with Rosa Doran, President of the Executive Council of Nucleo and the Interactive Center for Astronomy and Innovation in Education. Absolute privilege for us to host you. And for me personally, it's an honor to have this moment to learn from you and the projects that you are now part of. She is one of the founders of Nucleo. She is the chair of the Galileo Teacher Training Program. She is the president of the executive committee of the Global Hands-on Universe Association. She is also chair of the Portuguese Language Office of Astronomy for Development and chair of the COSPAR Education Panel. Since her childhood, she has been fascinated by astronomy and the wonders of the universe, which led her to pursue a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in physics and study black holes. She earned a PhD in science education from the University of Coimbra and is an expert in teacher training and innovation in education. Rose is also a passionate, inspiring science communicator who embraces the goal of making this world a better place through an inclusive education with no boundaries of any kind. Music to my heart and ears. Thank you for your presence and being with us today to share part of your journey and story.
Thank you, Yvette, for inviting me and having the opportunity to speak to your audiences. It's a real privilege to be here. In a nutshell, you described me. Let's see if I can convince you that I am really what you described.
I'm sure you are. You've dedicated your career to removing boundaries in science education, from studying black holes and now leading international space education initiatives. What was the pivotal moment for you that made you realize that your true calling wasn't just understanding the universe, but ensuring everyone has the opportunity to explore it?
I think it was a mixture of my personal life experience and also understanding that education was so far behind in terms of bringing real research to the hands of students. I found myself working with educators and understanding that they needed more help and more support. And I also found myself in situations where there was big digital divides or educational divides, cultural divides, social divides. And I saw myself in some of those places where I wish I had different opportunities as well. So I said, okay, I can be mediocre scientist, but maybe I can be a very good empower person to empower teachers. And actually, I have people calling me teachers enchanter. And I guess that's why discovering that I had this talent made me change my life. And then I started pursuing a PhD on science education so I could understand better what was going on in the world, or better saying that everything was wrong.
And actually, I did read that they call you the teacher enchanter. And you once said, and I'll quote, "What I want most in the world is for schools to have no walls and for teachers to stop teaching." It's pretty radical and refreshing. You paint us a picture of what education looks like in your ideal world.
So to me, a school should be a place where education is personalized, differentiated, and where teachers have the freedom to empower their students one by one with the actual needs. So there are schools like this. I can name one, for instance, in the Netherlands. It's called Agora, where there are no classrooms, there are no classes. Everybody is working on projects. The whole curricula is delivered by students doing projects that they are passionate about and also doing activities that are closer to the wealth and benefit of their communities, that are solving problems that their communities have, that are very close to their daily lives, and that are bringing them closer to the lives they are going to have after leaving school. And this is my dream, really. And when I say that I hope that teachers are not teaching, it's because the way that teaching is being done. I think teachers are facilitators of learning, and they are powerful sources of multiple paths that students can take to become the best person they can be, whatever that is, to help students discover what is their power. Most people live their lives without ever knowing what is their inner power. And teachers can be our best friends, our best travel companions, if only we will allow them to talk to each student as an individual, not as an average, which is something that doesn't exist. So that's what I mean.
I guess you're painting a picture of a non-traditional classroom, of opening up practical rather than theoretical. And so in that line of thinking, there's this new project called Explore. Can you tell us a little bit about this approach and this project and how it is a more hands-on approach with education?
Of course. So it was born because I met one analog astronaut, Gernot Gromer, and I saw him in one event where he was talking to teachers for almost 3 hours without a break. And when he finished, the teacher said, oh, they wanted more. So I said, okay, this is teaching a nurse here. And I started a conversation with him and understanding better his work as an analog astronaut or as someone organizing analog missions. And that was one chapter. Then I met the person that is responsible for the observatory in Largo do Alqueva in Monsaraz, Portugal. And he told me, I have all this space here. I really would like to have a very nice space center here for children to come. And I said, that's interesting. That together with my intention or my dream to have students doing real research, being involved in real things happening right now in the world and acquiring competencies that will drive them to the world of work where they can do something that is contemporary. I said, okay. I also brought in a school that is a very innovative school in Greece and COSPAR that is totally devoted to space. And I had the ingredients to mimic an analog mission for students so that they can play a little bit that they are analog astronauts and acquire the necessary competencies to become an astronaut. But of course, the challenge was, can I involve schools on that?
That's right.
And the answer was, yes, we have 3 schools per country. We have Greece, Austria, and Portugal. You have 3 very motivated schools per country participating, amazing teachers, awesome students, and the project is becoming much more than I imagined it would be. And of course, it's funded by the European Commission, Erasmus Plus project.
It's so exciting to see how education approaches are being supported internationally. And just knowing that the local community has been preparing. How have you, the partners, the observatory, been preparing this landscape for the analog? It's an agricultural region, as I understand. And so now you're turning it into a Mars landscape. How is that happening?
Yeah. So Alqueva is a place that during summertime is very dry. Exceptionally this year, it rained a lot. But there is the site where the observatory is. It's an agricultural site. And we had to have the special permission to have this small building there to mimic a habitat. And we are not interfering much with vegetation around. It's a small space that we need to have where the students will have the look and feel of a Martian habitat. The habitat per se inside will look like they are in Mars. They're going to eat like Martians. If they were, of course, on Mars, they will do the mission as analog astronauts do. And the only moment that they will see that this is not an analog site is when they go outside that they can see some green and some water because we are very close to the Alqueva Lake. But rather than that, the facility, we are progressing with it. We have also a mission support center that is mimicking a real mission support center. So all of this is being built properly.
Oh, it's exciting. I'm sure the students are getting ready. This is now taking place at the end of June, right? So we're on the precipice of this taking place. And for you, can you walk us through what are these students actually going to experience during this mission?
The students are being prepared, not only the students that are participating in the mission, because we are bringing only one student per classroom, but the whole classroom became a space agency. That space agencies have astronauts, but behind them you have a whole lot of other professions, right?
Oh, just to understand. So there'll be one representative in mission, and then they will have a mission control team of the other students.
Not yet. For the next mission, yes. This time we are testing, everything is new, but the idea is there. The second mission is going to take place next year and what you described is happening. But what I mean is that there is a kit of experiments that they had to rehearse. Each country received a complete kit that they split into the 3 schools. And then the experiments were circulated by the 3 schools. So all the students from the classrooms participating in the project, all of them did all the experiments. We have amazing footage of that. And the students themselves decided who was going to be the astronaut coming. There was a criteria for that, and the teachers didn't want to decide themselves, so the students decided. But all the students from the classrooms that participated, they did all the experiments. They did everything. They trained, they're prepared, and then they all got together in an online session because we have students from Greece, from Austria, and Portugal. They had 2 days where they were trained by the team at OVF in Austria, who are the experts in analog astronauts. They were trained online, and they had some team building activities. They had some simulation of crisis. They had to communicate with each other. They were put in rooms where they had to communicate with each other. So this training started. They're going to have one more session online before the mission. And then they're coming out to a cave. They are arriving on a Sunday night in a nice hotel that have swimming pool and very good conditions. The whole team is going to be there. There's going to be briefings, etc. And then on Monday morning, we bring them out to the observatory where the activity is taking place.
So you mentioned that the students have had kits, they've been in this training, they've been preparing, which I think also speaks and demonstrates the fact that all of these analogs around the world, and this one included, take a lot of preparation. The team building is a big part of it, the collaboration, which are real world application of skills. So I saw that in the kits. The analog itself emphasizes digital technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, which is so fascinating. How important is it for space education to stay current with these emerging technologies?
It's important that education and space education stays in line with technologies that are going to emerge 20 years from now. That's how we have to do it. Current technology have to be in all schools in the world. Otherwise, you are not preparing generations for the future. You're preparing them for the past. That doesn't make any sense. I am really fighting to have equity in education all over the world where everybody gets the same opportunity. And I don't understand why this is not a priority for all governments. If I want someone capable of embracing innovative technologies 20 years from now, not knowing what they are going to be, they need to be prepared for that.
Complete preparation. It's true. And you have over 1,000 students worldwide that are already participating in Explore activities at large. How do you scale the quality of experiences across such a diverse educational system, all these systems?
We don't. I had this discussion. I trained, I don't know how many thousand teachers in my life. I know my network have trained, 70, 100,000 teachers in the globe. And what we do, we use this ambassador scheme. We train very well a couple of people. We provide professional development to some people that we don't have to convince that this is a good thing to do. They know and they are willing to receive this professional development. And they are the ones going to find those that they can convince. And then together, they are going for more people and more and more. I cannot guarantee that someone that receives professional development from us will go to replicate the thing the same way. Also because we advocate for decolonization of education. We advocate for embracing local culture. So a local flavor is totally okay. And if you consider that with this cascade model, you reach out to thousands, if not millions of people, a small fraction of them are going to be well trained. And this is what the programs that do a very strict training reach. So there's so much to be done that if something is not exactly as we foresee, it's okay.
I saw that you're using the universal design for learning approach. Can you explain to our listeners what that is and then how it's emphasized in the Explorer mission?
So the universal design for learning is something that is used to ensure that there is total inclusion when you are working with people. So the way I like to explain, I saw this in a video that has one example to show what UDL is, and I loved it. So for a classroom or for a group of teachers, when I provide professional development, or for a group of students, means that total differentiation and personalization. And you can ask me, okay, you can do that for 10 or 20. Can you do that for 100? Yes, you can. How? Not as individual, because sometimes you don't even have time to get to know them all. But by investing some time in getting to know each and every individual, and we do that doing a methodology that's called design thinking for education. But you do a few fun icebreakers, warm up, team building, and do these activities. Just watching the movements, the body motion of everyone, a few characteristics of your audience. And you try to identify who is the student or the teacher that is feeling more uncomfortable with what particular topic that you are addressing or activity, and who is the student or teacher or person that is feeling more comfortable and more at home. Can create one scenario that will feed both of them at the same time. You are doing universal design for learning.
So if we take the Explore mission, is this something that you started virtually, or is it something you can only do in person?
No, we don't have a virtual mission created yet. Something that students from afar can participate and mimic that they are in an environment like this, because that requires funding to build an interface where the students can pretend that they are inside. But there are proposals that we have already submitted, solution that more and more will mimic this reality. So although we cannot mimic an analog mission online, we can go get very close to that. And we will for sure, even during the next mission, have the other students participating, by having cameras and interacting completely with the students that are in the analog mission. For instance, I have been providing opportunities for students from all over the world to interact with the biosphere team. They go through the biosphere and they show to the students, and the people, the team there can talk live to the students. I've done that also with the European Southern Observatory. So we will do the same with the Mars analog. We will provide the opportunity for a student in my favorite place in the world, for instance, Principe Island, to have connection live with someone here and have the look and feel of being inside of an analog. Right. This will happen in the future.
And I have to say, I think that's inspiring and exciting for students now. What are the ages of all the students that are participating in the Explore mission?
Wow. This activity was designed for students from 15, 16 years of age, especially because they are coming here without their parents, without their families. They are coming with one teacher that is representing the 3 schools. So we needed to have more mature students. But we are in the very near future, we will organize events where smaller kids from very early ages can come with their teachers and do activities here for a day.
I love seeing that there's this intentional targeting of an age group that can be so impressionable and can make even future education decisions and career decisions and life decisions based on something that might change their life. So this experience might just change them permanently.
And also you might think, okay, this is Mars. Why should I care? The objective is not to talk about Mars. The objective is to make them understand how valuable are the conditions that we have here on Earth. Okay, so we're talking about what you're eating. Oh, I want an ice cream. I want to eat a steak, a hamburger. Yeah, I'm not going to have any of that. Slowly understanding the specific conditions that we have on Earth that we will not have on the moon or on Mars. And what does it take to have a planet? And they will then, after this, these students are going to bring awareness to their families, to their local communities. They will spread the word to all their parents and families and business and local authorities of what they have done and what they have learned. And this will reach out why it's important to explore this foreign world.
That is the most critical, is the impact this has for their wider community. The nucleus is the student, and then their communities get to reap and spark ideas from that, which is, I think that's the exciting outcome. But for you, there's the teachers, there's the students, there's the mission partners, you and your team. How do you measure success for this analog?
There are several ways to measure success. The first one, most important one, is we finalize successfully what we said that we're going to do. That is the first one, right? The second one is to see, because we are, as teachers are using some rubrics to assess the students, if they acquire competence. There is a list of competencies that we expect them to acquire. And also the teachers are going to validate if they learn curriculum content. That is happening in all the schools because somehow teachers are trying to match to some content that the students have to learn anyway. Because for the teachers, the implementation of the kit is time consuming. What they are doing, they're working with colleagues in an interdisciplinary way, which is like project-based learning, which I love. And through doing this, they are covering curriculum content. So they are also assessing this. We had pre-questionnaires and we have some post-questionnaires for the students to validate their motivation and understanding of science. For the partners, is their motivation to go through all the challenges. You don't imagine the challenges that we are facing to put this together and make it happen in a safety and comfortable way, because everybody is going to be brought outside of their comfort zone and we need to make sure that everything goes according to plan. It won't, we know that, but that goes within the boundaries that we are expecting. And then we have to convince the European Commission that the investment of European taxpayers was worth it, right? So all these things that we are taking care of, we are collecting footage of everything that is happening. I can tell you, I can have some short things happening. I'm in one of the schools doing another activity, nothing to do with it, in the library. And I find 2 groups of students in the computer with their notebooks. And I go around them and sit there, explore in their notebooks. And they are just discussing, no, you have to use this resource. Try researching this. And they are taking notes, it doesn't work. Try again. And they're discussing some experiment. And I go by them and ask, what are you doing? They say, oh, this is a project we are participating in. Leave me alone, I'm very busy. And I said, oh, which project? Oh, it's a project about an analog mission called Explore. I say, oh, okay. And you're enjoying it. Oh, we are loving it. It's amazing. But leave me alone. I have work here to get. Well, they never knew that I knew what they were doing.
That's the level of excitement you dream of. Yeah, that's a level that you dream of with engagement, excitement, and interest, genuine common interests. I have to say, everything you say resonates so deeply because one, I have an affinity and deep warm spot in my heart for Portugal, as I explained and shared with you. Having been part of the first space research analog in Camões that took place in 2023, it was a collaboration, like you're explaining, a powerful collaboration between universities in Porto and Estec, University of Aveiro, Lisbon, and coming to the Azores and seeing the investment from community, from government, from students, from schools. The excitement was tangible and it sparked so much discussion and interest and engagement. So what I see here is so much potential to build on all of that and to see that the timing is correct. It feels right. It feels like this is the moment that this generation is really going to have access to a lot more open doors. If you had to identify the single most important contribution you or other educators could make to preparing not just the students that are in the Explorer, but the next generation in careers in space, what would it be?
It can be anything you want in space. I always ask the students if they can name a few careers in space, and they say a few, and then I show them a slide full of careers. And the challenge is not to name a career that is in space. The challenge is to name a career that is not related to space. And so what I would say is that the most important thing I can identify that an educator can do and have to do is to empower students to be the best person they can ever be, to embrace their inner power, and then they can become whatever they want. They have the freedom to choose. That's the thing that I think I identify the most important one. I wish I had a few teachers that could recognize in me some power that I had of creativity and also understanding of this, of science and its importance. Not everyone has this possibility always. And we witness some people saying, no, you will never thrive on this, on that. Anyone can be whatever they want. And that's what I wish that teachers would be doing for each and every student to become the best person, embracing the wildest dream they ever had.
And I think that's why I think these students with the Explorer mission are lucky to have access to someone like you and to have someone like you really advocating for this mission and really supporting this mission, because I think these are really important obstacles to overcome. This is truly a path for education that not everyone gets a chance to have access to. So I'm excited for them. And one final question for you with the Explorer coming up. How can teachers, educators, and other students get involved?
You have the Project.eu. Contact us, get in our mailing list, because as I told you, to me, everyone should have the opportunity to somehow be involved in Explore. And we have already a proposal that if it is approved, will allow us to help schools recreate analog spaces in their settings. Not true analog, but mimic analog. We can have hundreds or thousands of analog missions mimic all over the world. I don't want to have privileged kids in my hand. I want to have I want to provide to all children, wherever they are, even if they are in refugee camps, the opportunity to experience this and other activities that we design. That's my dream, and that's what we are working for.
So any country, any language, this is an accessible program for them.
Oh, yes, it is not yet, but we are building it. And the more support that we have from communities, from sponsors, from European Commission projects to fund our work, we are just planting seeds. And from here, we have a list of supporters that are going to emerge and help us replicate and transform this into something that can reach out any child in the world. That's my dream.
It's beautiful. And I want to live in the world that you're creating, Rosa. Thank you. Yeah, a 13-year-old girl in me who dreamt of space is excited because I know how important it is. And I thank you so much for your advocacy, for your work, and for your passion and dedication to helping students everywhere.
Thank you for giving me some space and letting my voice spread to the world. I can contaminate some people out there.
Exactly. And you inspired everyone today. For those listening today, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope today that you were able to learn a little bit more about the Explore program. We're all excited to see it take place, and we can't wait to see what comes next for your story as well, Rosa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And if you have further questions, reach out to us at radio@SpaceWatch.Global. If you like these or other episodes of Space Café Radio, leave us a rating on your preferred podcast platform. It is the currency of today. And if you want to stay on the pulse of the space industry, please visit our website at www.SpaceWatch.Global and subscribe to our newsletters. And of course, don't forget to become a Space Watcher. I'm Thorsten Kriening, publisher at SpaceWatch.Global, your independent perspective on space.